श्रीमती हरसिमरत कौर।
और क्या बोलो? हाँ, लाल बटन छोड़ो, लालू बटन लालू बटन।
Madam, today was indeed supposed to be a historic day where the winter session of this parliament had specially been extended to usher in a historic bill while the nation watched and waited.
Pakistan is terrorist.
Madam, today was indeed supposed to be a historic day while the winter session of this parliament was specially extended to usher in a historic bill while the entire nation watched and waited. A bill that would have been a historic piece of legislation which would attempt to stem this rot of corruption that has eroded our entire system. But instead of curing this cancer and creating history, we are witnessing the government's attempt to bring in a bill that is nothing but useless, toothless, and aimless, that is neither acceptable to the agitators that they are trying to pacify, and nor does it take any concrete steps to curb this menace of corruption. So, ma'am, I can only presume one thing, that under the banner of this government's Lokpal bill, they are basically trying to kill three birds with one stone. Number one, they are trying to show the nation that they have given into the popular sentiment and brought in a Lokpal bill, which I think the Honorable Minister has voiced the sentiment when I quote him and he says, हम तो लोकपाल बिल ले आए हैं, बस ले आए, काम खत्म हुआ, इन्होंने अपना काम कर दिया. Secondly, by bringing in such a weak and useless Lokpal bill, they ensured that it would be trashed by everybody in this house. And finally, the third thing, that if it did not get into this minority and reservation debate, they have ensured that it will be trashed by the Supreme Court. So, all in all, they have ensured that this Lokpal bill does not see the light of day. And like the Honorable Minister says, I quote him, सरकार ये भी नहीं चाहती थी ये लोकपाल बिल किसी को जवाबदेही ना हो, तो जब आएगा ही नहीं तो जवाबदेही होने का मतलब ही नहीं है. So, madam, this due haste, waste of time and expenditure all incurred by this hurriedly introduced Lokpal bill, I think, was the sole purpose of stemming the agitation to ensure that they do not go and campaign against the ruling party in the 5 Lok-bound states, which was the main aim of this big hurry scurry. Then at least the government should have had the sense to introduce their Lokpal bill so that we would not end up wasting time on this useless bill, which is neither going to curb the agitation, which is what they were trying. In fact, it has ended up fueling it even further when the jail baro andolan starts. Madam, as the common man reels under the steep price rise and inflation, he watches helplessly but with a deep sense of disgust the erupting scams of the political parties and the total loot that has been happening in the country, which is being regularly exposed. And then instead of seeing that people and the looters are being promptly punished, instead of that, it sees the government go into a cover-up mode in a desperate bid attempt to cover up all the scams that are happening, and unless the judiciary does not step in, the looters go scot-free. So, madam, today the political class is being viewed by the public as not only perpetrators of corruption, but also the people who are trying to block a legislation which would put an end to this corruption. Madam, this smoldering anger of the public has found an anchor in the Anna Hazare agitation. A 74-year-old man who in a non-violent, democratic and a constitutional manner is sitting on a dharna and a fast demanding that an urgent need is required to bring in a strong piece of legislation which attempts to punish the corrupt and put a stem the happening of corruption. And if nothing else, ma'am, I salute Anna Hazare for one thing, that he has woken up the sleeping conscience of this nation to demand from the people that they have elected to give in to their demands, and it has also challenged the government by bringing to forefront this concept of corruption which has eroded our entire system. And it has challenged the government to bring in a strong and a Lokpal bill which puts an end to this corruption and either listen to the people or perish if you don't give in to the ultimatum. And that is the entire reason why this 3 days house has been extended, so that we can pacify these people. But ma'am, instead of this hurriedly introduced Lokpal bill, I wish today we were actually debating a strong Lokpal bill. This joke of a bill that they have introduced, where the selection committee, search committee, and everything else is going to be appointed by majority people who are out of us, the very political class that these people are trying to keep out of the purview of the Lokpal. All directors, inquiry, prosecution, all secretaries, everybody is going to be from a list given by the government. So one secretary level guy owing allegiance to some political party is going to inquire and prosecute the PM, the MP, the ministers, as well as his bureaucratic pals. So corruption in the bureaucracy is uncontrollable today. How is the same bureaucrat expected to control the corruption once he becomes a member of the Lokpal? Then, ma'am, since the government does not want to give up its powers of the CBI, they decided that special courts will be set up to look into the cases of Lokpal. Ma'am, the reality today is that the CBI has 10,000 cases pending, 2,700 are 10 years old. Supreme Court has 56,000 cases, 47 lakh in the High Court, 270 lakh cases are pending in the various courts. If this is the reality today, madam, how is this Lokpal going to be more efficient and effective? I would like the government and the Honourable Minister to tell me that. Ma'am, besides the fact that now the government also has the power to remove the member of the Lokpal bill, what to me is personally the most scary part in this whole bill is chapter 15 of offences and penalties. Ma'am, besides the fact that there is no written thing as for the Lokpal members declaring their assets or how they will be punished in case they have committed an offence, the most amazing thing is, I would like to quote, that whenever anybody makes false complaints, they will be punished with a punishment being imprisonment for a term which may extend to 1 year or may be up to 1 lakh rupees. And that too, nothing contained in this section shall apply if the case of complaints made in good faith. Now, madam, this is a sheer case of which is going to totally work against the people, because anybody in the public life, he is going to be damned if he works and he is going to be damned if he doesn't. If I give my MP lad to someone who has asked for it, there will be 20 who say that she gave it because she was getting a cut, and 20 who will say she didn't give it because we did not offer her a cut. So what is going to happen? Tomorrow I will not want to work because I don't want to face the humiliation of these complaints. So as a result, this Lokpal bill is going to end up doing nothing unless we put such strong systems in place for frivolous complaints. It's going to be bombarded by a barrage of frivolous and it's going to become a tool to harass the leaders from doing their work. So in practical terms, with the passing of this bill, we are all going to end up giving a government and a bureaucracy which is going to stop working, which is neither going to fulfill the aspirations of the people, and it is going to make the people even more disgusted with the work that we are doing. Secondly, ma'am, I also agree with a lot of my colleagues here that the Lokayuktas is a state subject. We should leave it to the states. The states are doing a wonderful job. I would like to tell this august house that, madam, when the government has a will, only then there is a way. In Punjab, we have gotten the Right to Service Act.
What about Lokayukta in Punjab?
67, there is works in the government department, police department, which makes the people, the civil servant, the police accountable to the people to do their jobs in a given time frame manner. This is a law we have legislated, they can do it too. And why they haven't done it is what they should answer to. Secondly,
Please,
ma'am,
please.
we have also started the system of e-tendering, where all tendering is done by the internet, which has brought down, we have removed it and made it totally transparent with no interference, no interface with either the minister or the bureaucrat or the Axion. As a result, our project costs have come down by 30%. Why can they not do the same thing? And the 2G scam would not have happened if they had brought in this system of working. So only if there is a will, there is a way. Ma'am, I would like to end by saying that let's all rise to the occasion to fulfill the aspirations of our people. Let's not get so scared that a Lokpal bill is going to come in, which we are not going to be able to control. Today, the people are looking for a body that is free from the clutches of the so-called lawmakers, the so-called politicians who are perceived to be corrupt. So let's make in a bill and give action to what the Prime Minister has said, that well-being of the Aam Aadmi is the center to all our policies. This Lokpal bill is neither central to the policies of the Aam Aadmi nor to his need. So let's trash it and let's bring in another Lokpal bill. They have got suggestions from all the members. Let them amend it and bring it in, or send it back to a standing committee and make a member of the opposition person a chairman of that standing committee, so a real proper Lokpal bill comes in which can be passed in this house, and we don't waste the house's money and time debating on a useless bill. Thank you.